ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to On the Mic with Mike, the premier business radio program. We are on the campus of historic Virginia Union University. We're here with Shar Gibson. She is the program director over at the Women's Business Resource Center. It is the WBC Richmond.
Correct.
There you go. What are we doing here today?
So today we're hosting Coffee and Contractors. It's a networking event for people interested in participating on large infrastructure projects and transportation projects. We have the Small Business Transportation Resource Center here today. Also, we have BDOT, and we also have large prime contractors from various projects throughout the Commonwealth. So if you're a business that's looking to get on these contracts, you should definitely get connected with the WBC.
Really quickly, let's get the elevator pitch for the WBC. Who are you guys and what do you do?
Of course, so the WBC Richmond, we provide small business training to entrepreneurs in the greater Richmond area. So if you're a woman or minority-owned business, you can come to us for one-on-one coaching, technical assistance, and workshops to help you start and grow your business. Also, if you need connected to funding for your new business, you can also visit the WBC Richmond.
In other words, you guys got it going on here.
We've got it going on.
You got it going on here. All right, on the mic with Mike, Shar Gibson. How can people find you?
So you can find us on Instagram and Facebook at the WBC Richmond, or you can send us an email, wcrichmond@theinstitutenc.org.
Appreciate it. Thanks, now. Take care.
Thanks.
Jump on this.
No.
On the mic with Mike King here. This is part of the Mike King Biz Radio Network, which is ESPN Richmond 106.1 and Choice 105.3. International Business Group Radio, as well as CW Richmond TV. We are the voice of RVA business. Alrighty, so we're here on the campus of Virginia Union, and we're talking to business owners, specifically the transportation industry. So, ma'am, tell us who you are and what you do.
So my name is Angela Rayner. I am the owner of Five Boys Trucking. We are a dump truck hauling company based out of Charlotte, North Carolina. But I am certified to do business in Virginia, North Carolina, and South Carolina.
So when your husband started a business, when did you know you had something?
Ooh, well, we knew we had something when we had the opportunity to take our dump trucks to California.
Really?
Yes.
That's something.
So my husband came home and said, we have this opportunity, sell everything in the house, we're going to California. And I said, what? We're doing what?
That's what my wife said.
And that's what we did. After some prayer and some arguing and, a little bit of both, I said, okay, fine, let's see if we can make things work. We have 4 kids. My oldest was already out the house. My second oldest was heading to college in California. My youngest son could stay with my sister because he had a semester left. And then I just took my daughter.
And went to California.
And I drove cross country.
Chasing a dream.
Chasing a dream.
So when you get there and you realize it was going to work, what did it take for you and your husband to realize, okay, we've come this far? What success look like for us?
Ooh, success looked like being able now to help somebody else.
And that's what you did in this room today.
Yes.
There's a lot of information that went around this room. There's information, then there's how to get stuff done. And you say to people, hey, contact me because we've been down this road. When you started off with 1 truck,
yes.
How long did it take you to get the second truck?
7 months.
7 months. What was the thought process and what did it feel like when you guys got the second truck?
I was like, is this the right time? That was my thing.
What was your husband saying?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Every time it's let's do it. But we really didn't start seeing a profit until we got the second truck, and it made financial sense on paper. And I'm one of those show me, like I should live in Missouri.
You show me.
Exactly. So he showed me, and it worked well on paper. And now we have 3, and we subcontract anywhere from 15 to 20 a day.
All right, very quickly. So part of the process today was talking about money and getting paid. What you and your husband say, the people on the other end who you're supposed to get your money from.
Absolutely.
Explain that to people, why that's so important.
So it's very important because when you're dealing with larger prime contractors, they're the estimators who negotiate the contracts. But you want to know who's cutting your check. You want to know who do you have to send the invoice to? what information is required to send the invoice, what do they need to make this process run efficiently. You want to know them by name. You just don't want to know them by an email.
We're not just sending it over to XYZ.
There you go. I'm going to call and find out. Let me speak to you. Let me see, hey, Stacy, how are you doing? I'm with Five Boys Trucking. You know, when do you expect to receive your invoice? When can I expect to receive my check? Do you pay via QuickBooks or would you be mailing me a check? Those are the things that you need to know because your business is important to you. This is how you make your money. So you want to make sure that you give them everything they need one time so you can receive your payment correctly the first time.
As we came through COVID, what was something that you and your husband learned as you came through COVID?
I learned that, you know, there were so many opportunities out here that we didn't know about when it came to being a business owner with COVID. And all we had to do was take the time. That's what it was about. So nothing was going to be given to us. We had to take the time to fill out the paperwork, to do the research, to apply for the grant, to apply for the loan that can help us sustain our business. You know, some people say, oh, I'm not messing with that PPP money.
Well, that's what we heard that in the room here today.
Oh, PPP money was great. I provided the documentation, I received the money, and when it was time for me to fill out the documentation verifying, everything was in order. Now, I don't recommend going out here and doing something from a fictitious standpoint, but if you have a documented business, then you, by right, are deserving of that money.
There you go. Now, see, that's across business lines. It doesn't matter what business you're in. There you go. Alrighty, how can people find information about your organization?
So you can reach me via email at 5FIVE boys BOYS trucking TRUCKING at gmail.com, or you can call my husband. Don't call me.
Don't call you. What's the next big thing on the horizon for you guys?
Oh, so we have like 7 contracts right now that are up and starting in March. One in Lumberton, North Carolina, Raleigh, North Carolina, Spartanburg, South Carolina, Cowpen, South Carolina, Shelby, North Carolina, and Charlotte, North Carolina.
Really quickly, when you submit submit for the proposal to get the job, that's one day. What does it feel like when it comes back and you say we got it?
Honestly, it comes back about 5 to 6 months later, and you totally forgot that you
Because
submitted
you've
the
been
bid.
having all the other ones.
Because you've had the bid and it takes time. And you're like, oh my gosh, we got this. Like, I totally forgot about it. And then we're like, all right, now we need to strategically plan how we're going to execute, you know, this. So yes, it's very rewarding to know that all your hard work has finally paid off.
There you go. We'd like to thank you for coming on the program. On the mic with Mike, we do talk to the best and the brightest out there. This is the transportation industry, but these are cold, hard business facts. Learn your job, know the process,
Absolutely.
and know the person who's going to pay you.
That's right.
That's what I'm talking about. On the mic with Mike, ESPN Richmond, you got to go. Take care.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back on the mic with Mike King here on the campus of Virginia Union University with the Women's Business Center of Richmond, their transportation event. We got a business owner here, Primo Transportation LLC. Welcome to the program, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All righty, tell us about your business. Quick elevator pitch.
Quick elevator pitch. We are based in Richmond. Can handle any and all transportation and hauling needs. That's local and statewide, nationwide. SWAM certified. Been in business since 2018.
Alrighty, so now you started the business. When did you think, okay, we can do this, we can make it work?
Day one.
Oh, you knew right off the bat. You knew from the get.
Day one.
Okay. Alrighty, so now, a person's going into business, everybody got an idea. They're tired of working for this person, they're tired of working for that person. How do they make it a success?
Just stay focused on how to plan first. Stay focused on that and work hard. Just put in the work, and it'll come to you.
So when you started, what did you have, one truck?
One.
Okay, one truck. Let's talk about the decision to go to the next one. How long were you before you were saying, I need another truck?
About 8 months in.
About 8 months. Okay, you thought about it. How long did it take you before you pulled the trigger?
About a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the feeling like when you came and you got the second truck?
It
You was just like, yo, I'm the man.
Yeah, it felt good.
That's
it
right.
felt good. And, like I was saying, putting that hard work in and in business, you gotta entrust in other people to put that same effort in. So it's gonna be a challenge some of the way, but just stay at it.
Alrighty, and how can people find out information about Primo?
Call me 804-433-6257. Email is primotransportations@gmail.com.
There you go. Primo Transportation, ladies and gentlemen. This man knew from day one, this gonna work. That's right. All right, how many trucks you got now?
3.
Congratulations on that. On the mic, Mike King here, the best business radio program around. We'll talk to you soon. Ladies and gentlemen, on the mic, Mike King back. This is the voice of RVA Business. So I'm here at the Transportation Summit for the Women's Business Center, Richmond. There's a dynamic speaker here. As I always say, it is a business show, so tell us who you are and what you do.
All right, hello everyone. My name is Charlea Washington. I am the Compliance Manager for Lane Construction Corporation. We're based out of Cheshire, Connecticut. We're a heavy civil contractor with over 130 years building roads, highways, and bridges.
There's a lot of opportunity for businesses. We're here, minority business, women-owned businesses. Explain to the listeners some of the things that you dropped on folks today that a lot of people who are in this industry don't realize.
Understanding the scope of work. A lot of people get into business, especially construction, not understanding the need for their scope of what their business can offer. Research is the first thing that I always tell contractors. Know who you're dealing with, know what you can do, and know what kind of know what it is a benefit to the prime contractor.
Because you understand, let's talk about the payment part. Because a lot of times, a lot of people are in business, they don't understand the payment piece. Explain to the listeners why that's so important. Yes, you need your money, but how as a business can you make sure, because good practices as far as accounts receivable, it doesn't matter what industry you're in. You just broke it down so people understand what time it is. So give our listeners just a dose of that.
First things first, read your contract. Your payment terms are in your contract. There's a old movie where it was reading the playbooks, and it was draft day, and
I remember. I love that movie.
They gave them the playbook, and at the end of the playbook there was $100 there, and so most didn't even know that it was $100 because they didn't read the playbook. It is very important to understand what the payment terms are before you sign a contract. Additionally, when you know where the money for the project is coming from, be it a DOT, a city, or state, get with their procurement department and ask what are the pay terms. Is it invoice 30, 60, 90? What do I need to do? Negotiate your contract on your terms of needing to be paid.
Another thing you said, go where the money is. Like you said, if you are a contractor, how many buildings do you see on the side of the road? Explain that to the listeners.
Well, so I'm a heavy civil contractor. We don't need a roof. We don't need a roof. Those typically roofs comes on buildings or some type of quartz covering. So if you know that you are a roofer, highway transportation may not be your area. However, that doesn't mean that no roofs are going up. You still have city jobs if they're building buildings. You have housing authority that's building apartments. You have anything with a federal dollar, federal credit unions that's building buildings and need a roof. Everything doesn't have to be in one area.
See, on the mic, Mike, when you don't know things, you go get the experts. Really quickly, I'm going to jump over there. Explain to people what set-asides are.
Whoa.
There you go. No, really quickly, you know a lot of stuff, but just for people, we in business hear about set-asides. What exactly is the high level of that?
Well, I would start off by saying this. A set-aside does not guarantee you a contract. A set-aside is a percentage of a contract that they want in the specialized areas. And one of the certification or multiple certification areas. So that money is actually set aside for those contractors to get those types of contracts. However,
Here we go.
However, just because there's a set aside does not mean that you're qualified.
Thank you, Shirley.
When you're qualified, you're able to have a better footing in obtaining that contract. It's knowing your business, knowing estimating, knowing what codes you are in, and how to deliver the business.
Really quickly, last question. Talk about people signing bad contracts. Sometimes you make a mistake and you have to ride it out. And give our listeners a word of wisdom on how not to take bad deals.
Well, a bad contract, we don't want to get to a bad contract. We want to understand how to read plans. We want to be able to understand how the market is being driven for workforce, what's taking place when it comes to material, understanding what's going to take place on the project that you're looking at. Now, here's the best thing you can do. If you're bidding on a city project, there are city resources in the procurement department, small business areas who can assist you with bidding and estimating. If you're certified as a DBE, a disadvantaged business, each DOT has a center where you can get resources. What happens is that we get so busy when we get so busy and hungry for work, we skip over everything that we've learned
To get the deal.
And then it's no need to throw the baby out with the bathwater. We have to understand what's happening. Do not ever feel like you cannot ask a question when you're looking at a project of that prime contractor or any contractor that you're dealing with. You're able to ask questions, you're able to call them, and they should be responsive to you.
Here you go, Shirley Washington, here dropping some words of wisdom on us. On the mic with Mike, how can people find you information about your organization out
Go visit www.laneconstruct.com. We have a Work With Us tab where you can see all the things that we're working on right now. You can register as one of our wonderful subcontractors, and we look forward to dealing with you. We are working all over the United States, and find a project, you'll see our trucks.
There you go, Shirley Washington. We'd like to thank you for coming on the program. On the mic with Mike, we deliver the best and the brightest. This lady is here, what I'm talking about. We'll talk to you soon. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to On the Mic with Mike. We're clearing out here at the Virginia Union University. This is the WBC Richmond event talking about transportation. But we have a local entrepreneur who's just starting. Military folks, hey, you know, that's close to my heart right there. So tell everybody who you are and what you do.
But I'm Beraca INC. We are from Dominican Republic. We are Latin. It's a Latin business to focus as an engineer. We want to show how is our background for everybody. You know, the Latin is not just focusing the minorities, but we focus to grow out for the federal and state job. We are a workforce solution, staffing, logistics, supply chain, project management. It's more focused as a business to quality, safety, OSHA. We're here for you.
So you're an engineer by chance?
Yes.
What kind of engineer?
But I have 6th degree, electronic technician, industrial engineer, environment engineer, 3 master, project management, logistics, supply chain, marketing, and my PhD is international leadership.
Okay, so Dr. Danny, a friend of mine who runs this women's business center, is an engineer. Engineers think step by step by step, and that's one of the great things. So when you just started, how long have you been in business? You just starting?
It just started.
There
We're
you
from
go.
scratch.
So you're here, your husband, shout out to a military man, shout out to the Army as well. And hey, ladies and gentlemen, she was at Fort Greely, Alaska. Fort Greely. Nobody's been to Fort Greely besides me, but she's been there. Alrighty, so we're gonna connect you with all our friends out there. How can people find information about your business?
But they can enter in our website, Beraca, BERAKAH, corp.com. And We have all the social media. Enter our website, search all what we're doing. We have too much opportunity. We're here for support and to help.
So give it to our listeners in Spanish so that way they hear it as well.
Buenos días, espero que todos estén bien. Mi nombre es Karina Martich, representando a la comunidad latina. Somos de la República Dominicana, un grupo de ingenieros profesionales con doctorado en el área de gerencia. Estamos enfocados en la parte de staffing, de proveer empleados entrenados y comprometidos con las empresas para dar lo mejor. También en la parte de logística, estamos también en la parte de gerencia de proyectos, lo que es manufactura, distribución, etc. Contáctenos en nuestra website, en nuestra página web, veracá.com. Ahí están todas nuestras redes sociales. Llámenos, ahí está nuestro número. Bienvenido.
There you go. I totally agree with what she said.
I know you see me on the video.
Mike King Biz.
I know you heard me on the radio.
Mike King Biz. The leading voice of the business ecosystem in Richmond and all across VA is Mike King Biz. Mike King Biz. Check out the king of RVA Business Talk on ESPN Richmond 106.1 FM, Choice 105.3 FM, and now on CW Richmond TV. Mike King Biz.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back on Mike, the premier business radio program. I'm your host, Mike King. I appreciate you being here. So we're coming to you from the campus of Virginia Union. We have another one of the guests here. So, sir, tell us who you are and what you do.
I'm Dennis Roberts. I'm president of REMAC Incorporated. We do pavement maintenance on roads, airports, parking lots, that kind of thing.
One of the things that we just talked to Charlay about was making good deals. So over the course of the time, can you look at a deal and say, that's not one for me, and walk away because you've learned what not to do?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
What are some of the things from a business? Business is business across the board. And we already talked about getting paid on the back end of it.
Yeah.
So how can you tell for you a good business deal?
Well, it's good if you've had experience working with the people and you trust them. And like if you're a subcontractor for a big general contractor, you look at their reputation, and that's where I get most of my problem trying to get paid a lot of times from a big general contractor, where you might be doing a job that's got, state money, local money, federal money, and you do the job and you complete it and you bill that guy. He's got to bill that guy, and then the federal people got to put their money in, the state people got to put their money in, and sometimes you're 3-4 months getting paid. So
to a business owner out there, what do you do and how do you survive that time between job being completed, people got to get paid, material for the next job? How do you do that? Well, you have to, basically you got to establish a line of credit if you don't have a lot of money sitting in the bank. When I was getting going, I had worked for somebody else for 30 years, and then I did my own thing. I had accumulated a little bit, and I put a lot of my money into it to keep it going, and weather the storm and get through, collecting the payments. And I still got a lady in my office that she spends a good part of her day calling me, where our money? we need our money. Yeah. And that is the important part. So we came through COVID. What was it like for you guys, and when did you realize that you were going to survive COVID? I never doubted I'd survive, but I felt like we could get through it. Did you see what happened in your industry? What were some of the big changes that happened in your industry that you noticed? Well, I had to, one thing was send guys out to job sites, and used to have maybe about 6 of them in the pickup. And back when that first came out, then we had to start sending more trucks to the job sites, so at least you didn't have more than a couple guys in the truck. Back in the day, I was in the Army. I mean, we could pack a whole bunch of people. We were just like sardines. All we needed some juice on us and send it out to the job site. All right, really quickly, how can people find information about you out there? We have a website. It's
www.remacus.com.
And where are you guys based out of?
Freeman, Virginia, in Brunswick County. It's right down at the North Carolina border.
You know what? I go down to Brunswick County. Alfreda Reynolds runs economic
I
development.
know Alfreda.
Do you?
Yep, sure.
Alrighty, so Alfreda Reynolds, I go down there and we do business summits. The next one I come down there, we're gonna have you come in and talk about. She's always shouting out Brunswick County. It's the gold standard.
Yeah, she's the economic development director.
That's why she would say that.
Yep.
Yes, she is.
Yeah,
shout,
she is. Yep.
Shout out to Alfreda Reynolds down there doing some big things. Next time we're down in the county, we're going to have you come in and talk about all the successful things going on. One of Mike, we'd like to thank you for coming on the program.
Sure.
All righty, take care. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to One of Mike, the premier business radio program. I'm your host, Mike King. I appreciate you being here with us. We're coming into you from the campus of Virginia Union. This was an event with the Women's Business Center Richmond, and it's a transportation aspect. So one of the great parts about having a show is I get to talk to experts. So, as always, tell us who you are and what you do.
My name is Charlene Reynolds. I'm the Managing Director of Creative Next Gen Petroleum, a fuel supplier. Also, I'm the CEO of Creative Insurance Concept, a commercial insurance and surety bond agency. We're based out of Richmond, Virginia.
One of the things a person asks you, so what do you do? What's the look on people's face when you tell them what you do? Because I don't have a clue.
Well, when I tell them that I'm a fuel supplier, they usually say, really, I've never met an African-American woman fuel supplier.
I've never met a woman African-American fuel supplier. No, I have not.
How did you get into that business?
Exactly.
And then I shared a long story, and I don't know, do you want to hear this story, or it's a pretty long story, but I can
give me the short version.
Okay, so my surety bond agency has been in business for 28 years. One of my contractors who I was bonding, sister had a convenience store in Virginia, and they were looking to sell fuel. I was on the board of director for an airport trade association at the time, and so they realized that I had the connections with the rental-car agency, so they asked to partner with me. So in doing so, we agreed to do a partnership, which ultimately ended up with me being the sole managing member of Creative Next Gen Petroleum. Because of those relationships, I reached out to Enterprise Rent-A-Car, and they sent me my first fuel contract, which consisted of 7 airports in the state of Virginia.
So now, what did you say about providing the gasoline for Enterprise?
So we have our own trucks. We also have our own supplies. So we have a contract with Enterprise nationwide in Atlanta, Georgia, Pensacola, Florida, 7 airports in Virginia, and some in West Virginia. And what we do is we buy fuel and we resell it to them. We have it delivered, and they use it to fuel their rental cars at all the airports.
After I take it back and didn't fill it up.
After you take it back and fill it up, they will fill it up and charge you more than I charge them, obviously.
I love that.
Yeah.
On the mic, we talk about hustling here, and that's a beautiful business model. I hear you're also with the CEO program here with the Women's Business Center.
That's correct. So I have been with that program since October of last year, and that has been good as far as providing me with resources, funding through the LIST program. I got a business loan through the LIST program, which was facilitated through this organization. And most small businesses think that it's really difficult to get funding. I'm here to tell you, if you're connected to the right resources, funding is not difficult. Obviously, you have to have your financial picture in order, but I've been actually provided with more lending opportunities than most businesses just by making connections with organizations like this.
It's who you know and what you know.
Absolutely.
There you go. All right, how can people find out information? Because your story is inspiring. How can people find out information about you?
So you can find me, my website for Creative Next Gen Petroleum is C as in Charlie, N as in Nancy, G as in girl, petroleum.com. And my surety bond agency is Creative Insurance Concept. That website is creativeic.com.
You're in 2 fields that are male-dominated and white and male-dominated.
I was the first African-American surety bond agency that wrote bonds through the Small Business Administration in the nation, in the country. I was the first, and I started doing that in 2004. So I tend to get into industries where there are people who look like me, and that's just kind of been my story. And what I like to do is to mentor and bring other people in. I don't want it all to be consumed by me. I like to share knowledge, I like to share information, and I like to share resources with other people, no matter what their ethnic background is. I just like to encourage entrepreneurship and help other people reach their financial goals.
Because that's what you did in this room today. You dropped some nuggets of knowledge on people.
I tried.
You did. All right, so on the mic with Mike Collective, thank you. We'll be back soon.